Finally, shocking America. Iran New Deal with China for new advanced missile HQ-9B. A game-changing military pivot in the Middle East. In a move certain to rattle defense strategists in Washington and Tel Aviv, Iran has reportedly secured advanced Chinese HQ-9B surface-to-air missile SAM systems in the weeks following the 12-day Israel-Iran conflict that ended in a ceasefire on June 24, 2025. Reports suggest this acquisition was financed via oil exports, part of a long-standing barter arrangement designed to bypass Western sanctions. What is the HQ-9B missile system? Developed by the China Precision Machinery Import and Export Corporation, CPMIEC, the HQ-9B is a modernized long-range SAM system. It builds on earlier HQ-9 variants, integrating enhanced radar and electronics. Its key specs: range, up to 260 kilometers. Ceiling, capable of engaging targets up to approximately 50 kilometers altitude. Speed, exceeds Mach 4.2. Radar, HT-233 S-band phased array, 360-degree coverage, tracking up to 100 targets, engaging 6 to 8 simultaneously. This positions the HQ-9B as a serious upgrade over Iran's existing systems, including the S-300PMU-2, Bavar 373, and various domestically developed platforms. Strategic context. Why now? Iran's need for robust air defense was starkly illustrated during the Israel conflict, where devastating strikes crippled its missile assets, radars, and command infrastructure. The HQ-9B deal offers a rapid response, shoring up what sanctions and combat degradation stripped away. Oil for weapons exchanges aren't new, but the timing and sophistication of this transfer underscore the deepening military choreography between Iran and China. Geopolitical shockwaves. For the U.S. and regional allies, this signals an unsettling shift. The HQ-9B is engineered to counter stealth aircraft such as F-35s and cruise missiles, platforms that Iran's prior systems struggled against. It may force Western powers to rethink any air campaign calculus in the region. For China, the transfer highlights its strategic willingness to provide advanced arms to regimes sidelined by Western export restrictions. The deal enhances Beijing's role as a defense partner in the Middle East, potentially filling gaps left by Russia's faltering supply pipeline. Integration challenges ahead. While the capability leap is significant, Iran faces critical integration hurdles. Merging HQ-9B platforms into its existing air defense network, comprising Russian, Chinese, and domestic systems, will. The system's performance remains untested in combat. Past operational shortcomings in Pakistan raise caution about reliability. Operational training, command protocols, and logistics will need acceleration under ongoing sanctions and surveillance. Broader implications and outlook. Regional arms dynamics. Iran's act may prompt neighboring nations to pursue their own advanced systems or forge new defense pacts. If HQ-9 parts trickle to groups like Hezbollah or the Houthis, key maritime and aerial corridors could become hotspots for future confrontation. U.S. response. Washington has been briefed by Arab allies about the transfer. Responses may include augmenting air defense partnerships with Gulf states, imposing new sanctions, or increasing drone and ISR deployments to neutralize the threat. China-Iran military cooperation. The success of the HQ-9B transfer may embolden future deals, potentially involving J-10C fighter jets and additional sophisticated systems. Iran's defense posture is clearly pivoting eastward. The hidden leverage: oil, sanctions, and parallel economies. While the HQ-9B missile system is making headlines, the real backbone of this deal lies in energy. Iranian crude oil, once largely shut out of global markets due to US-led sanctions, has been finding buyers through the back door via China, which remains Tehran's largest trade partner. According to sources close to Iran's Ministry of Petroleum, an estimated 45% of oil exports in the first half of 2025 went to Chinese refiners operating under the radar. These clandestine energy exchanges provide Iran with billions in untraceable revenue, funds that are now being channeled directly into arms deals with Beijing. This reveals a pattern. Iran isn't just importing weapons, it's engineering a barter-based military economy, where oil is the new currency for advanced tech. The longer Western powers ignore or fail to block these exchanges, the more sophisticated Iran's military will become, despite being economically cornered on paper. What's next? Eyes on J-10C and strategic radar systems. Multiple defense analysts have noted that the HQ-9B deal may not be a standalone agreement. It could be part of a larger multi-stage defense procurement program involving the J-10C multi-role fighter jet, which uses Chinese AESA radar and PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles. Advanced electronic warfare suites to support radar jamming and satellite spoofing. Mobile anti-stealth radar arrays based on China's JY-27A and YLC-8B systems. If these additional platforms are delivered, Iran will become the first nation outside of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to operate a truly Chinese integrated air defense and air force architecture, a major shift away from Russia-centric dependency. For Beijing, it's a win-win. It deepens its influence in West Asia, tests its weapons in a volatile theater, and showcases its export potential in global arms markets, all while making Washington play defense diplomatically. Israel and the Gulf states, growing jitters. Iran's acquisition of the HQ-9B comes on the heels of unprecedented aerial exchanges between Iranian proxies and Israel earlier in 2025. As a result, Israeli intelligence circles now warn that the new SAMs may be dispersed to hardened sites across central and western Iran, be used to defend underground missile silos or nuclear assets, or even potentially be exported to Hezbollah in limited numbers for high-value target protection. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Bahrain, all closely watching the regional power balance, have reportedly opened back-channel discussions with South Korea and the UK to procure new countermeasures or expand their Iron Dome-style systems to neutralize Iranian UAV and missile threats. This is no longer just about Tehran's defense, it's about reshaping deterrence architectures from Riyadh to Haifa. U.S. strategy. What tools are left? With sanctions already maxed out and diplomacy largely at a dead end, the United States faces limited options. Expand economic pressure on Chinese firms involved in the deal, including financial blacklisting and maritime shipping interdictions. Bolster CENTCOM assets in the Gulf region, including THAAD deployments, F-22 rotations, and ISR coverage. Greenlight covert disruption ops, ranging from cyber attacks on Iranian radar installations to sabotage of shipping networks used for logistics. However, each option carries its own risks, particularly the third. Iran and China have both improved their cyber resilience capabilities, and any direct U.S. interference may ignite larger geopolitical tremors involving the Taiwan Strait or South China Sea. China's global messaging, undermining the U.S. arms monopoly. Perhaps one of the most overlooked impacts of this deal is the symbolism it offers emerging powers worldwide. For decades, the U.S. and its NATO allies dominated the Tier 1 arms supplier sphere. But now, a sanctioned nation with limited global clout is acquiring near-peer missile systems, bypassing SWIFT, IMF, and UN restrictions. That message resonates beyond the Middle East, from Myanmar and Venezuela to Algeria and Pakistan. China is signaling that it can be a reliable arms partner even under extreme conditions, and that its tech is no longer second tier. As its gear sees more operational deployment, whether in Iran or elsewhere, the perception gap between Western and Eastern weaponry may start to close, and fast. A Cold War echo, or a new axis? This deal has reignited debate about whether we are entering a second Cold War, but one marked by tech parity, regional alliances, and distributed superpower influence. Some political analysts argue that this Iran-China alignment forms the early seeds of a new axis: Iran as the Middle East arm, China as the economic and tech driver, Russia as a declining but nuclear-armed military partner, and potentially North Korea sharing missile design secrets and launch technologies. In this view, the HQ-9B is more than a missile. It's a signal flare in the night sky of global multipolarity. Closing thoughts: a missile, a message, a movement. This Iran-China HQ-9B missile deal marks a triple detonation, militarily, diplomatically, and symbolically. It's a reminder that isolation no longer equals military weakness. Oil remains a potent trade currency when dollars are denied, and the monopoly on cutting-edge defense systems has officially cracked. What's truly staggering is the bold defiance this deal represents, a highly militarized power center mounting its defenses with the tacit backing of a rising great power, all well under the weight of harsh sanctions. It's a testament to a new kind of gunboat diplomacy in the 21st century era, one premised on barrels of oil, advanced radar arrays, and the chessboard of Middle Eastern geopolitics. This Iran-China HQ-9B missile deal isn't just a headline, it's a turning point. But it's also a warning shot. We are witnessing the dismantling of long-held assumptions about global arms control, deterrence, and the effectiveness of Western sanctions. The emergence of new strategic corridors connecting Beijing to Tehran through barter-based militarism shows how fast and far the world is pivoting away from unipolar power models. The U.S. and its allies now face a stark question: adapt to this multipolar reality or risk watching adversaries evolve faster, deeper, and farther outside the traditional boundaries of influence. This deal is not the end of something, it's the beginning of an arms race with no obvious rules, waged not just with firepower, but with new alliances, economic loopholes, and long-range radar. The skies over the Gulf may look the same, but make no mistake, their threat matrix has changed forever.